Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys give me a little thumbs up so I can know that you're hearing me okay? All right, get those cameras on, show up, be present. Awesome, excellent. So good to see you all. All right, first thing is, hey, congratulations. You've made it through a week. I know it wasn't that tough, but you've made it through a week. And so I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask you before kind of talking about what's going on with next week and checking in with you guys. So here is my first question. How many of you feel much more aware of your relationship with food today than a week ago? How many of you feel much more aware? Okay. Okay, that's excellent. How many of you feel like you have a mild multiple personality disorder? Anybody feel like you have a mild multiple personality disorder? Okay. All right. And here's a tricky one. We're only 5 days in, but how many of you feel like even if you stopped right now, there's a pretty good chance that your relationship with food and your consciousness of eating is already potentially permanently changed? How many of you feel like you'll never be able to go back? Okay. So I want you to understand that's where this is going to work. That's why this is different, is because you are having different thoughts. We are doing different things, and the only way to get different results is to do completely different things. And so because we're doing completely different things, you are going to get completely different results. How many of you feel like you have a significantly improved sense of faith that this program is going to get you the results compared to the little bit of faith you had when you joined? How many of you are feeling like that? Okay, excellent. So I imagine at this point, most of you have watched the video for today. But as a recap of it, I want to remind you of a few things. That when we make announcements on a Friday, this is also for you guys to understand, for those of you who carry on with the journey for into week 3, every time we make changes on a Friday, they are optional for the weekend. So if we've done some things in 1 week, then we keep those things, and then we make some enhancements on the Friday, and then you don't have to do them over the weekend, but they start from Monday. The reason for this is it creates a fantastic opportunity for you to really get to know yourself, because let's say, for example, I said, no more purple foods. Well, on Saturday, you would have the choice. On Friday, if your devil wanted it and your angel didn't, ultimately, Eric said, so you ate it. How many of you did this week? You ate stuff even though the angel was saying, I don't know about this, right? So, but on the weekend, you don't have the Eric said card anymore. So now you're actually going to hear the dialogue even better. We call it the buffer zone. It's the opportunity for you to really notice how your food devil tries to sell you and how your angel tries to improve things and so on. So it's a very exciting opportunity over the course of the weekends. So the enhancements for this week, for those of you who have not, had a chance to go through the video, is that this week we're going to be cutting out still nothing, still not cutting out anything. Now, when you watch the video, how many of you now are thinking this doesn't make sense? We're not cutting. I came on a diet. I want to cut things out. How many of you are a little confused about cutting out nothing? Okay. Again, if we want to get different results, we have to do different things. And so this week, we're going to start to apply one of the very powerful WildFit principles. And that principle is that your health is far more dependent upon you getting enough of the good stuff than it is you removing the bad stuff. You see, if we take a perfectly healthy human being and we put them on the perfect human diet and they eat all the perfect stuff in a seasonal way, they eat wonderfully, they eat no garbage, no preservatives, no GMOs, no refined sugar, no processed food, nothing. They eat perfectly, but we somehow remove all the vitamin C from their food. They're going to get sick. They're going to start getting skin sores, and it's going to turn into scurvy, and then they're going to die. And they've never eaten chocolate. They've never had ice cream. They haven't died because of the bad stuff they've eaten. They've died because of the good stuff they didn't get. And that is a huge part of what's happening in the modern world today. People are overeating calories and undereating absolutely important nutrients. So this week, what we're going to be doing is adding some things, not taking things out. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be saying, hey, you know what? Let's start the day with a little bit of fresh fruit. Let's start the day with a bit of fresh fruit, and let's increase the volume of vegetables that we're eating. Let's focus on that right now. We're going to increase our vegetable intake. We're going to increase our fruit intake. We recommend that it's better to eat your fruit on an empty stomach. I know there's all kinds of science and then debunked science and then debunked science, but I don't really care about that. Here's what I notice. If I eat fruit when I already have food in my stomach, it tends to give me heartburn. What is heartburn? Indigestion. What is indigestion? Not digesting. So I tend to suggest that it's better to have the fruit on an empty stomach and to increase your veg intake. And we will be providing you, if you haven't had it already, a recipe for a smoothie that you can take in, because it makes the whole veggie thing a little easier if you have it as a smoothie sometimes. So this week, we're focusing on adding stuff. But what's very important when you add stuff is that you really notice your dialogue about food and that you keep eating the things that you would normally eat. Now, I have a question about last week. How many of you found that there were times last week where you're like, I don't even know if I really want this, or I don't know if I want to finish it? You were kind of, yeah, did you have that? Did anybody actually not finish something or not eat something? Like did anybody do that? Okay, guys, listen to me. Don't do that. Don't give in to that. Don't give in to the temptation to be good. This week, as you add in good quality food, some of your cravings for the bad quality food are going to go down, and then you're going to be tempted to go, well, I don't even feel like it, so I'm not going to eat it. No. One of the biggest lessons you're going to get is eating the stuff when your body's healthy. As you improve your nutrition and your cravings go down, you're going to keep eating the way you're eating before, and your body is going to go, I don't think this tasted as good as I thought it did. I don't think it made me feel as good as I thought it was going to. How many of you already found that some of the things that you used to think were really, really yummy, now you're really paying attention? Maybe they weren't as yummy as you thought. How many had a bit of that this week? All right. Do you see? We're doing different things. So this week, please eat the way you would normally have eaten, except for adding in some fruits in the morning and adding in some vegetables in the day. The only exception is it might be difficult to eat your normal breakfast if you start the day with fruit. So if you can't quite get your normal breakfast in, that's fine. But the rest of the day, any snacks you would have had, any meals you would have had, if you would have had ice cream, if you would have had pizza, if you would have had chocolate, I want you to keep having those things, even if you don't feel like it, because that's where you're going to get some incredibly powerful perspective. Let me ask one more question. How many of you ate something, you knew you didn't totally feel like it the way you used to, and as a result of that, you gained more awareness and consciousness about that food? How many of you had that experience? Okay, this is why this is going to work, but it only works if you work it. And that means that this week you add in the things and you subtract nothing, even if the devil and the angel agree. Like I'm telling you, the angel goes, look, there's chocolate over there. Or the devil goes, look, there's chocolate over there. The angel goes, yeah, but we don't want that. And the devil's going to go, yeah, I know. I'm just telling you it's over there so we can avoid it, right? Like that's going to happen for some of you. But I don't care. This week, the angel and the devil don't get a vote. Eric gets a vote. This week, you cut nothing out. Are we good with this? Does this make sense? All right. So let's jump in and find out how you guys are going. Here's what I want to know is what realizations have you had? Have you had any kind of breakthroughs? Have you observed some things? Do you have any questions? And Austin, I'm ready for whenever you want to cue people up. Guys, you're going to get Austin's attention by doing electronic hand raising, or even fanatical hand raising will sometimes catch his attention.
Eric, did you forget my name?
Where are you? No, I thought Austin was queuing up the guests. I didn't forget your name. But you can queue up the guests. That would even be better. Oh, you know what it is? It's because Austin queues the big Mind Valley classes.
Yeah,
that I've been
different group.
Ariel, everybody. Ariel, the fantastic and amazing. Wait a minute. Wait a second. It's Ariel's birthday, everybody. So I'm going to unmute. We're going to have to do this. It's going to be ugly, but I can't unmute. Somebody took away my unmute controls. How do I not have unmute?
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ariel.
Happy birthday,
Shakalaka
to you.
Happy birthday to you.
birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Ariel.
Happy birthday,
My love.
birthday to
to you.
Happy
Happy birthday.
Wow, someone is beautiful.
Okay. There you go. Happy birthday, Ariel. We'll celebrate by the pool later.
Good.
So Ariel will be serving up guests for me to interact with. Who's up first?
First, we have Amrita.
Hello.
Can
Hello.
you hear me? Hello?
I can, yes. There you go.
Oh, fantastic. Hello. I didn't expect you going first, but I'm glad. Thank you. Ariel, happy birthday. Eric, hi.
Hello.
This is my second round. I did my first round with Mind Valley, and I'm so glad that this was lined up in the way that it was, because my first week, my food devil took over the court after 3 days, and everything was back on board, and I really struggled with it. I really did struggle with it. So I reached out to Pamela, and I'm doing coaching with Pamela after this.
Good deal.
She
Good
just
call.
said, just come back to the basics, and that's what I'm going to do. But if you had any tips, like I know one of the biggest mistakes was I was going to try and do intuitive eating, which just didn't happen. I thought I'll bring a couple of things back and see how my body feels, and then do my kind of what I keep and what I don't keep.
Wow, Amrita, one of the problems that we have right now is, I every time somebody goes, I just listened to my body, I'm like, oh man, you're in serious trouble. You know why? Because your body's lying to you, right? Remember, your body evolved to survive starvation in a world where calories were incredibly rare, required a significant amount of effort to go and get, and starvation was an ever-present reality. And so your body is the perfect not starving machine. So when your body walks into a shop, it's like, holy crap, there's food everywhere. And your body's like, you should have a little of that. You should have a little of that. And so listening to your body, remember your body evolved. So some of the messages that you're getting are outdated. It's like, if you listen to your intuition, intuitive eating, your intuition evolved in a place where there was no food availability, where it was incredibly difficult to get food, where to get your basic food requirements met every day meant walking like 10 to 15 miles a day. And what do you think your ancestors did when they stumbled upon a fruit tree and they didn't have to walk anywhere? It was right there. They ate the whole damn thing because their survival depended on it. Now somebody puts a plate of food in front of you and it's not the best food. There's no instinct in people to not eat food that's available. There's no, Amrita, I was with the Hadza Bushmen just before the lockdown. I was with them. They're hunter-gatherers, proper hunter-gatherer Bushmen. And I interviewed the chief and I said, do you guys ever do any fasting? They have no word for that. Okay. You ever intentionally not eat? He looked at me like I was a crazy person. Like I was a very, very dangerous, crazy person. What do you mean intentionally not eat? No way. We eat when food's available all the time. Why? Because they are living in the environment that our instincts came from. And so if you look around the modern world, can you see a few people working very hard to save themselves from starvation? Like there are some people I know, they've saved up 20 years worth of food, man. They got it right there on them. It's not their fault. It's a food industry taking advantage of a bad set of instincts. So you cannot do intuitive eating, but your eating can become more intuitive the more in balance you get. So right now, how many of you feel like you can trust your intuition a tiny bit better than you could a week ago? A tiny bit better, right? But you have to remember that the food industry knows you and knows your DNA and knows your instincts, and they're going to play at it all the time. So that's where we have to really work to toward creating super consciousness. Amrita, I have a question. The first time you did WildFit, in weeks 1 and 2, did you really go into weeks 1 or 2, or did you cut back a little? Like, how did you do weeks 1 and 2 last time?
Well, my biggest issue was binging. So apart from binging, I ate everything that I would normally eat. Like I was eating before I started Mind Valley.
So
I
you
really
stopped
tried hard not
binging
to
in those
binge.
2 weeks because you're on a program. It's probably not good to binge when you're on the program, that kind of thing?
And no, I think because I was not restricting, I didn't feel the need to binge. I did overeat. And I continued to do that throughout the program. There were times that I did overeat, and then I would realize that I've overeaten. So I think my food timeline has slowed down a lot. Like I can pick it up, and I'm aware, but still the habitual action happens first, and I realize that I've done it. So rather than 3 days into the binging, I kind of know 1 meal into binging sort of difference.
Okay, here's a really important thing about overeating. When you're eating truly wonderful, evolved, low carb stuff, which you don't have to worry about that right now. But when you're eating that, there is no overeating. It's just about impossible. Like, how many of you have ever ordered a really good quality steak and it was just a little too big and you just couldn't get there? Has anybody had that with like meat or fish or something? Nobody's ever had that with a bowl of pasta. You ever notice that? Somehow a bowl of pasta, you can get through that every time. You can get through it, and then you can have a second one, and then a slice of bread too. When we eat the stuff that our body's really happy with, there is no overeating it. Your body will actually shut off. But there are certain foods that are designed to shut that off. And what we want to do is work on getting more consciousness about those foods so we don't have that problem. So what I want to tell you is this week coming up, I'm going to truly experiment, truly do what the devil wants. If the devil wants to binge, do it. Like, let the devil have its way, but just add in the stuff we've asked you to add in and really try to play the foundation is in this 2 weeks that you're in right now. That's the foundation. Okay. And by the way, we've had a number of clients that have come to us and said, you know, I was like at a level 10 of healthy eating. And then on WildFit, I got to level 100 and then I slipped down to 70. And they go, it feels like a bad drop, but it's still like 7 times better than it was before, right? So what I want you to do this time is take a look at the delta. Like, you know, watch as you're going here, observe your dialogue, and really create that consciousness. And I've got one more question for you. Why is it important for you to be healthy?
Oh, it's just after having done the first round of WildFit, now I kind of see the difference in my body. Like I tried putting dairy back and I could instantly feel the difference. I put the grain back and instantly inflammation and like my joint pains back, which I didn't need. I had a steady energy. I just felt really, really good. And I didn't realize because it was very incremental last time. But now that I've put these things back, I instantly, like my first week, I felt like I'm hungover, constantly hungover with sugar, with grain. So now I know what really well means and feels like. And I want to feel that way.
Okay, so now let me ask you another question. Here's another question. Are you feeling like the experimentation that you've done, the awareness that you've gained, the reaction your body gave you might actually have been really important for your long-term behavior change? Is that possible?
Absolutely. I agree with it. So I'm actually quite glad that all things have aligned, and I take it as experiment, but I just knew that this happened and I freaked out a little bit, I have to be honest. But then I straight went back onto the Alka-Geysers, and even in 1 day, the difference is just incredible. So you're absolutely right that I agree with that.
Yeah. Guys, I want you to just hear what happened here. I really want you to watch this because this is what some of you will already get this, but I want you to know what just happened there is actual magic. In the normal diet world, she would call up and she'd be like, I already did this once and I fell off the bandwagon and I'm a useless person and I'm bad. And all of those emotions would drive her to do what? Eat more garbage. It would damage her self-esteem. What you just heard her say is, I'm kind of glad that that happened. Do you understand the biochemical difference in her body? She's like, I'm kind of glad that that happened. It's going to be part of my journey to genuine freedom. And I will tell you, for many of you, for those of you, how many of you guys have done WildFit before? Show me. Okay. How many of you that have done WildFit before went on WildFit, after WildFit, you decided to experiment with something, and within 1, 2, or 3 experiments, you were like, yeah, I'm done experimenting with that. How many of you had that experience with something, right? That's why it has to be about freedom. You know, I'll tell you, my father, I know technically I'm not supposed to tell you that he's in Alcoholics Anonymous, but he tells everybody. So I think it's okay. He tells everybody. But you know, one day he was doing this interview on the radio and he was being interviewed about alcoholism in South Africa. He was staying at my mom's house And my mom at the time was working for the South African Breweries, which was the second largest brewery, or maybe the first largest brewery in the whole world. And my mom got a beer allowance as part of her job. And she ran out of places to store beer. There was beer everywhere. And so in the bathroom, there was a wall of cases of beer stacked up in the bathroom. And my dad's doing this interview on the phone in the bath. He's laying there in the bath doing the interview. And they have two specialists on the interview. And the one specialist is going, well, one of the things you should do to make sure that the alcoholic is not facing temptation is to remove all of the alcohol from the house. And my dad's like, nope, that's not how it works. If you have to remove it from the house, it still has control over you. Do you understand? If you can sit in the bath and do a radio interview about Alcoholics Anonymous with 15 cases of beer in the room with you and you don't drink any of it, you're free. And so we want to have the same thing here. It's not about removing the stuff. WildFit is about freedom. And when you find that freedom, the 0 point we talked about on Monday, when you find that 0 point with some food, you actually have freedom. That doesn't mean you'll never eat it again. It means that you might one day, and then you go, oh, I remember why I don't do this. And then your freedom is reestablished. So I am really glad you're here second time around. Thank you for a very, very good question and conversation. That was great.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right,
Ariel, who's next?
we have Jatika.
Hello.
Hi, Eric. Happy
Hello.
birthday, Ariel. So happy to hear all of these experiences. So first week, I've tried to have enough water. I'm just, actually, I don't have my video on, Eric, so let me just put it on. So hi, that's me here. Okay. So, so I've tried to have enough water, but I'm not sure if I'm drinking enough. So, so this is the bottle I measure up, like I at least drink 3 of these. So if you can see in here.
Yeah.
And I try to do the 5-5-5 twice. Of course, the video that Ariel had uploaded with her, you know, on Facebook, it was easier to do with the count then because I wasn't sure how much of count goes in there. And of course, I had stopped eating a lot of junk food. I like a lot of junk food, you know, chips and, you know, a lot of savories. I had stopped that because, you know, I thought I shouldn't be eating it. But I started eating it in this week. So I put it back on. I had it. And yes, so that's what I did, actually. I did not deny myself that food. So, and it's just that right now, because I'm new, this is the first time I'm doing. So I'm like little, like you said, I'm a little lost that, you know, how am I going to achieve this? Because, you know, I really want to be at my optimum health, and seeing you, like, I really want to get there, you know. And I've always
I know, and right now it feels like I'm walking, you want to climb this mountain, and it feels like I'm walking the other way, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
How many of you feel a bit like that? There's this mountain we're climbing, and I got you going the other way. Does anybody feel a bit like that? Okay. Trust me, if you ever want to climb Kilimanjaro, I've done it 7 times. And you know what? There are times when you have to walk away from the mountain to get up the mountain. It's just how it is. There's times when you have to go downhill to get uphill. And I'm going to say this to you. Have you ever done any kind of diet programs before?
Many.
And how has that worked out for you so far?
Gained back weight. Lost 20 kgs.
And weirdly, you would be more comfortable right now if I said, okay, cut this out, cut that out, cut this. And you'd be like, oh, awesome, I'm on a diet. And you'd feel more comfortable, wouldn't you?
Right.
But then you'd be repeating the same mistakes that they made all the last time. What we're doing is something completely different, and it will feel a little uncomfortable. And God forbid, some of you have probably put on a little weight this week, and you're like, oh my God, Eric's gonna. Yeah, to get different results, we do different things. And so I want you to know that lost feeling you're having, I love it. I want you to feel that way. Because if I just gave you the everyday familiar, you're never going to make it up the mountain. I got to help you acclimatize. I got to help you get your equipment ready. I got to make sure that you understand your mental toughness. I got to get you to a place of complete consciousness. I want you to know that one little trick that I learned about helping people get up Kilimanjaro was pointing out to them that on the final day, they were going to want to give up. Funny thing, I just had to tell them, you're going to want to give up. And I want you to know everybody wants to give up going up. Has anybody here climbed Kilimanjaro? Anybody with me on this? I'm just trying to see anybody in the chat. It's not, I guess, wow, it's not as common a thing as I thought. No, but nope, not one. I don't see anybody. Okay, I thought, but, oh, Peter, you've done it. Peter, did you want to give up on the final day? I mean, it's just how it is. And the weirdest thing is, by telling people that on day one, when the feeling comes up for them, they're like, oh, this is one of the feelings I'm supposed to have on the way to results. I want you to know that this feeling you're having right now is one of the feelings you're supposed to have on the way to results. For some of you, one of the things you're supposed to do this week is gain a little bit of weight. You're supposed to. I want you to know something about the body. The body really likes releasing weight. It likes doing it. Here's the example I can give you. If I've got you walking through a desert and there's no food or water in the desert and you have a backpack full of food and water, are you going to put that backpack down? No way. No, you're in the desert. You need all that food and water. You're not going to put that down. You're going to hold on to it. And not only that, you're only going to snack from it. You're not going to let it, you're not going to eat that stuff fast because you're like scared. You don't know. But the minute you get to town, the minute you see the Whole Foods or whatever place it is that you want to go get your food, the minute you get there, what are you doing with that heavy backpack?
You'll put it down.
Taking it off and putting it down and getting some real food in there, right? That's how your body feels about weight. It's just carrying it around because it thinks you need it. And what we're going to do is show it that it doesn't. And part of it is confusing you like this to begin with, because you're going, I'm walking away from that. And you are doing the right thing and you're having the right thoughts, and I'm happy for you. And by the way, you're probably drinking enough water.
Yeah. So you think I'm drinking enough water?
You're drinking 3 of those a day?
Yes.
I would say you're drinking enough water.
But I'm working out as well, so I'm running a bit.
Well, you know, maybe you want to top up a little. The way I tend to do it is I don't count the water I'm drinking during my workout as water, because I'm just replacing what I'm losing.
Yes.
Same thing.
Okay.
If any of you ever see me on stage at an event, you will always see that I've got a bunch of water bottles on the stage with me. Why? Because when you're talking, you use a ton of water. Breathing, you use some water, but talking, your body keeps putting water in your throat to keep you. Have you ever had your throat so dry you couldn't talk? So you use a lot of water to keep your vocal cords like lubricated and stuff. So I don't really, when I sit at my desk and do live coaching and I drink a lot of water, I don't count that as part of my water in the day. That's just replacing. So drink those 3. And then if you go for a workout, top up as well. But also, I don't recommend intense workouts right now. I don't recommend intense workouts. You can do them if you want. And if you end up staying on and doing the whole 90 days with us, we'll talk to you about where it's good to stop or tone down your exercise. Particularly, I'm sorry to say this, for women, intense exercise raises cortisol for you. Men, it's reversed. When we do intense exercise, we burn off our stress. Women actually create a bit of stress when they do intense workouts. And guess what? Cortisol tells your body, don't put the backpack down. I'm stressed.
Oh.
So we're going to talk a lot more about that in the future. But for now, I would say
the 90-day challenge.
Don't be so intense. Not so intense with exercise.
But I'm doing the 90 days, so I'll kind of.
There you go. Well, we'll come to that. Right now, keep doing what you're doing. All good.
Thanks so much.
All right, Ariel.
Next, we have Sejal.
Sejal. What kind of company is this that would make people work on their birthday? What is that? Hello, Sejal.
Company that has the health and. Hey, Eric, my gosh, thank you so much for giving me this chance to speak, and it's such an honor. I want to let you know that I did WildFit last year. My husband and I both did. And I had a fracture. I couldn't move, and yet after the 90 days, I lost 17 pounds. I felt amazing. And when I went to the doctor, he said I was healing better than 70% of the people out there. Since last year, and I know I posted a picture of our Alkagizer mechanism, we have it down to a system. We have still kept up with our Alkagizers. So it's over a year now. We still do them. We put them in mason jars and everything. My husband has kept the weight off. He looks great. Me, however, that weight has come back, and I just to save time, and because I want to give other people a chance, but again, I really want to tell you in detail. One, I haven't eaten rice in over a year, and I don't miss it. I haven't eaten wheat in over a year. I don't miss it. I said we already have the Alkagizers, and I always used to cook fresh food, which I still do. The bad part is, for some reason, because I have a job that's mostly sitting, and now it's even worse because of the pandemic, I've by the time I get done, I'm so mentally exhausted. I watch TV and then I snack. And of course, everywhere we go where they have these virtual hangouts, there's always alcohol. And you know, I've had that sometimes, you know, and it always gives me heartburn. So my question to you is, my biggest weakness, I think, is having sugar with my tea in the morning. If I don't have my masala chai, I don't feel normal, but it doesn't taste good without the tea. So what can without the sugar, what can I do? Secondly, I just got diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Does that mean I'm doomed forever as far as
Okay,
losing
wow,
weight?
lots to unpack there.
Yeah.
First thing is, I want to talk about the unfairness of male and female metabolisms. I'm just going to say it out. It's not fair. There's a lot of reasons it's not fair. I'll give you one right now. Women lose weight from places they want to lose weight. Like, women lose weight in the wrong order. In other words, there are places on your body you might not want to lose weight, and that's where you lose the weight from first. And there are places that you do want to lose the weight, and you lose it from there. Don't hold them like that, geez. But anyway, but you lose it, and then women put weight back on in the places they don't want to first, and the places they do want to last. I don't know why it is that way. I wish it wasn't. But also, men and women respond differently to weight. And I think part of it, if you think about it, it totally makes sense. If a man's carrying an extra 30 pounds, do you think that might get in the way of him hunting?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So when hunting season starts, his body has to be like, get rid of that. I got to be hunting. I can't carry that around with me. So sometimes for men, it's just easier. And women routinely have to put weight on to protect for themselves and for all the children that they might be having. Now, we may not have that many children anymore. Your body doesn't know that. The human tradition was for a woman to birth 9 children in her lifetime, because 80% infant mortality. You needed to make enough kids to keep the population going. So women are very good at putting weight on. They're very good at it. And they can release it, but the body's always kind of going, are you sure? Are you sure we should be releasing that right now? You know, are you sure we're not going to have another baby? And it's like, you can even say to the, we're not even trying. I can't. But the body doesn't understand that. And it's just trying to protect you all the time, because, man, when you have to build another human in your body, the energy demands and all that kind of stuff. So you're built for all that. So the bad news about that is that often women will put weight on a little more quickly than men, and they'll often lose weight a little bit more slowly. But the mechanics are ultimately the same. You absolutely can reverse it. You've seen it yourself. So the good news is you have a degree of faith and belief now stronger than you had before. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the good news. Now let's talk a little bit about hypothyroidism. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to offer you medical advice. I'm not going to give you financial advice. I'm not a priest. I'm not going to give you any of that advice. All I'm going to tell you
That's okay. I'm a pharmacist, so that's fine.
Good deal. She's a drug dealer, everybody. Everybody just,
yes.
What she just said is she's a drug dealer. So in any event, when I say this to you, I can only tell you anecdotally that time and time again, people have come and done this program, and around about week 6, 7, 8, 9, they've come along and gone, yeah, I'm off my thyroid support medication now. My doctor took me off. I can't tell you, I'm not promising you that that's the case for you. I'm not telling you it's going to be that way. I'm just telling you anecdotally. You know, if you go to Mind Valley Stories, I don't know what the URL is, you will see hundreds of stories. You go to our Facebook page, you'll see hundreds of stories of people. And if you search for thyroid, you'll see many of them talking about their thyroid returning to proper function and being able to come off their medication. So I'm not worried about that either.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Johnny in there, just in the comments writing. She had Hashimoto's and way better now. And it's the bottom line is any injury, any disease, any dysfunction of the body, is your body's going to have an easier time dealing with it when you are well-nourished and not so toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to make things better. Now, I felt like there was one other really important thing that you touched on that I didn't get to.
Yeah, I think it's the craving for like sugar in
yes,
in
sugar in the
morning.
tea. All right.
Yes.
So have you ever been outside in the super bright? Look, Leslie as well, no more thyroid medication for her. So you're getting some not from me, from clients. They're telling you have hope.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, pharmacologically, it's possible as well.
There you go. So, have you ever been outside where it's so bright, and then you walked inside and it was so dark, but then it turned out that as your eyes adjusted, it wasn't so dark in the end. Have you had that experience?
Mm-hmm.
So your eyes are doing that because they're opening up and letting more light in. And so now the room isn't so dark. Your taste buds do something very similar to that. They tune to the season. And so the more sugar you eat, the less sensitive your taste buds are in your mouth to help you to eat more sugar. Because honestly, if you walked out there and the tree was full of fruit, eventually you'd be, how many of you ever eaten some sweet stuff and you've gone, okay, that's just too far. I've gone too far with the sweet, right? So now your body, in an attempt to make sure you eat as much of the sweet as possible because it's going to save your life and prevent you from starving, your body dumbs down your taste buds so it's not that sweet anymore. So then you need even more to get there. And so I want you to know your taste buds can completely recalibrate, but there's this moment when you first walk into the room that the room is really dark and you bump your shins on things and it's too dark and you're tempted to turn on the light. But if you just wait a little longer and don't turn the light back on, you'll be surprised that your taste buds will recalibrate and things that right now aren't so sweet will get sweeter and sweeter. And I'll bet you even noticed that a little when you did WildFit the first time, just not so much.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and I didn't even want the tea, but it's just I can't find a good option. The coffee is terrible, you know.
Rooibos tea.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I did try.
I know, it's an acquired taste. I'm telling you, give it.
Yes.
Try different brands, and I bet you get to a place where you quite like it. It's a full-bodied herbal tea with no tannin, no caffeine. And if you feel like you like a little bit of a creamer, I wouldn't use dairy myself, but most herbal teas, you can't do that. With rooibos tea, it's a full tea, so you can. It's a really good tea substitute. And I would suggest that that's an idea. But listen, you're in the right place. Follow the steps, and let's see if this time we can let go of the tea. But one more question I've got for you about the tea. When did you first have it?
The tea that I'm having with the agave.
Yeah.
I think it was a month after, because my fracture healed, and then I went back to work, and it's I'm working late
what tea were you having before that?
I wasn't. I was just having like the spearmint and herbal tea from like Tazo tea or something like that.
So
I was just, and then at one point I was just having hot water because it was too much to think what to have. So I just had hot water. I just basically need something hot in the morning. I can't do cold.
I've got you. Okay. So I think that, but this tea that you're having, it just isn't nice if you don't have some sweetener in it.
No, it's the Indian tea with the loose leaf, and you boil it. And the thing is, the cinnamon and all those herbs, it helps open up my allergies and it makes me breathe better. So I'm so addicted to just, the cinnamon, the cardamom, and all these ginger, all these flavors inside the tea.
So for now, you don't have to change a damn thing. I want you to keep having it. But in the future, if you had an opportunity, for example, to take a bit of a holiday from sugar, what I'd want you to do is try drinking that tea for like a week or two without sugar, and you'll hate it. But I wonder if there doesn't come a day around about week 7 or 8 where your taste buds adjust and then you start tasting the tea properly and you go, actually, I quite like it. Maybe. So I just want you to be willing to experiment with that idea. But for now, keep having the tea, keep watching how it really tastes, keep watching how it really feels, and let's see where it takes us.
Yeah. And then 2 last questions. I've never had difficulty giving everything else because I have felt so good on WildFit. I don't miss the wheat. I don't miss the bread. I don't miss anything. And I've never been a foodie, so I really don't care about food much. So I never ever overeat, and I'm still putting on weight, and it's just only gotten worse. But obviously the exponential weight has been due to the thyroid. My other question is, as I see my scale, I'm getting more and more stressed. Like, oh my God, this is it. Next thing I'm going to be on diabetes medication, and they're just going to keep adding. That's the bad part about being a pharmacist, because you see all these patients with so many meds, and you're like, what's the point of living? But I'm afraid that I think that stress is also adding to this anxiety. Like, oh, it's going to be any day. It's going to be any day. Oh, and one last question. What should I do about being hungry at night? Because I work late hours, if I don't eat before I go to sleep, I'm hungry, and then I can't sleep. What should I do? I've had enough water, but then it flushes everything out, so I'm hungry again. Sorry.
Okay.
That's it.
I think that you have to let's go, again, 2 different issues here. The nighttime hunger thing is almost never actually hunger. It's just your stomach's empty and you're not used to the feeling. How many of you have come to a place, maybe from doing WildFit before, that now when your stomach is empty, you actually like the feeling? Like it feels like light and it feels quite nice. I like when my stomach feels empty. I quite like that. So I like going to sleep on an empty stomach. I find I sleep better. I find I'm healthier. I feel younger. It's better. The challenge is that for most of us, we've spent so much of our life basically starving, low on nutrients at the same time that our stomach was empty. And you can imagine if you were an ancient person and you're low on nutrients and your stomach's empty, you're going to get a major message from your body, go get something, go get something, go get something. So I just want you to know that mostly what you're probably dealing with there is an empty stomach hunger. It's not a genuine hunger at all. It's just a feeling. And that's why a glass of water can temporarily take it away. Because you take a glass of water and in that moment, the stomach feels full. But then as soon as the water passes out, the stomach feels empty again. So you don't have to worry about that right now. I'm not asking you to change any of that. Right now, keep eating. Go eat at night if you want to. You're supposed to do everything the way you were doing it before. Everything is fine.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
And then wait,
you.
what was the first thing that I was starting to answer?
So the stress.
Oh yeah, stress and the scale.
Anxiety and looking at the, scale.
Okay, listen to me, particularly those of you who are women. Men can do this too, so men listen up, but it's less common. But women, how many of you, if you're really honest, are a little bit afraid of your scale? If you're really honest about it, you're a little bit afraid of your scale.
Oh God, yes.
Okay, so I want you to think about that for a minute, okay? Because like, you live in the safest times in the history of ever. I want you to understand, if you were born in 1900, by the time you were 20 years old, you've been through World War I. By the time you are 35 years old, you've been through World War I, a Spanish flu, and the Great Depression. By the time you're 45 years old, you've been through World War I, a Spanish flu, the Great Depression, and World War II. By the time you're 55 years old, you've gone through the Cuban Missile Crisis, the beginning of the Cold War. Then the Vietnam War begins. I know COVID's inconvenient and stuff, but if you were born between like 1965 and now, you are in the safest, bestest, everest times in the history of being a human. Do you get me? Are you guys with me? I mean, guys, you can travel around the world. You don't have to worry about violent crime. I know it's in the news. They're trying to convince us that it's bad, but it isn't. So, okay, why am I saying this to you? Because your adrenal system was designed for those dangerous times. Like you evolved to deal with lions and hyenas and other tribes and starvation and storms. I mean, so the problem is, if you're a little afraid of your scale, what kind of chemicals are you producing in your body when you think about the scale? Some of you would rather walk into the bathroom and see a tarantula than a scale.
Yes.
Yeah, are you with me on this? So if you walk in and you see the tarantula, you go bum 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 bum. But you're saying you're doing the same thing for the scale. So this is the journey to the scale. If you feel like you've ever had this journey, raise your hand. Let me know if I'm on a little bit track for you, because it might not be for everybody. I really should go weigh myself. I don't want to, but I really am curious. Okay, it's first thing in the morning. And we just used the bathroom, so we got all that out. And let's get all the clothes off. Oh, hang on, earrings. Got to take the earrings out. Okay, heading over to the scale. Oh, damn it. I came out of the shower. I think my hair's wet. Really dry that hair. Like really, anybody familiar with any of these steps so far, right? So now we go over to the scale. As we're walking over to the scale, so, oh my God, what's it going to say? What's it going to say? 1 foot on, second foot on. Ah, damn it. Who has had this experience in some form? Okay, that's kind of like this. Oh my God, there's a snake in the bathroom. I have to get it out. I don't want to. I'm going to have to. It's not safe for the snake to be in the bathroom. I'm going to go over and get the snake. I mean, it's the same conversation, except the snake's actually dangerous and the scale is not. But what you're doing when you do that is you're creating stress chemicals in your body. Do you understand? You're creating all these stress chemicals that are designed to help you fight danger. Has anybody here ever actually been injured by their scale? I mean, really injured. And by the way, I don't mean because you did something stupid, like stub your toe. I mean, has your scale ever attacked you? Ever? Anybody? Ever? Have you ever been bitten, scratched, spit on, kicked at? Has your scale even insulted you ever? Like, did you get on it and go, 185, you fat bugger? Has it ever even done that? Has it ever even tried it? No! It's never done any of these things. And yet you're afraid of it. And so I want you to know, I want you to know that it can't hurt you. And I also want you to know something else. Weight is an incredibly terrible measure of health.
Yeah.
Today, I weigh my high school weight. I just checked in this morning. I weigh just what I did when I finished high school. Pretty cool at 50 years old, isn't it? But you know what's really even better than that? In high school, I didn't have muscles. I had the same weight, but I looked like a potato. Okay? Like by the time I was 21 years old, I was potato shaped. And I'm the same weight today. So hang on. What do I really want the scale to say to me? Now, I realize some of you are clearly above an ideal weight threshold. So the weight is a gentle reminder of the direction you want to go in, but it is not an indication of whether you are healthy or not. So I want you to forget about the scale right now. If you cannot walk up to the scale, if you cannot do it without having your heart race or producing stress chemicals, then I don't want you to do it. It's not important. We will ask you to do measurements at certain points. That's different. Then you go do them. But this thing of torturing yourself with the dangerous scale every morning, stop it. Release yourself from that. It's not helping. By the way, is it helping? No! And here's the irony of all ironies. I really want you to hear me. You walk toward the scale. Remember, you take out the earrings, you take off the clothes, you dry your hair, you hold your breath. No, you let the breath out because maybe the air is going to weigh something. You're like, you got to get it all. But the whole time you're doing that, you're stressing out and producing cortisol. And do you know what cortisol tells your body? Hold on to the weight. Because it's telling you that you're in danger. And when you're in danger, you need fat. You know why? Fat protects you from being stabbed. Fat carries energy. Fat carries water. Fat protects your organs. So in every way, if you're in danger, the best thing you can do is have fat. If you think the scale is dangerous, it is dangerous if you think it's dangerous. Because every time you walk up to it thinking it's dangerous, it tells your body, get more fat. Every time you look down at the scale and it gives you a number that makes you go, you just told your body more fat. Your mind is going, we got to lose weight. We got to lose weight. Your body's going, we need more. We need more. So we don't do the scale anymore, except on days that we specifically ask you to go and check out some measurements because we're looking for metrics. The only reason you should ever step on a scale ever again is that if you can dispassionately do it, knowing that weight is not that big a deal. I'm just scientifically curious about my weight all the time. I don't take it personally. So, Sejal, what a great series of things for us to talk about. I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here. And good luck with the rest of the journey.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
definitely feel healthier than I was before I did the 90 days.
And there's the point, guys. Everybody, like, I want you to just stop for a minute. When Sejal first comes on and she goes, well, I've put some of the weight back on and I'm not totally being good about that. It almost could create the feeling that the program failed her or that she failed the program or something like that. No, what she's saying is I had a bit of a shift, but overall I am healthier, happier, and have more control. That's what freedom is about. But that's why it's great to come back and do a reset. That's why it's great to work with a coach sometimes. Because guys, like, how many of you have ever worked with a personal trainer? Who's worked with a personal trainer in fitness? Do you do better? Do you do a better workout when the personal trainer's watching? Do you do that? You ever notice sometimes the personal trainer walks away to talk to somebody else and you kind of let off a little? Like, what is that? It's so stupid, right? But then how about this? You stop working with the trainer and for a first while you're working out pretty well, but then it starts to slide a little bit. You're still more fit than you were before. That's why you keep a community around you. That's why you stay connected with. How many of you who did WildFit before made friends on the WildFit program and they're still your friends today? That's right. And that's going to make sure you keep getting results. Sejal, thank you so, so much. Really nice to be with you this morning.
Thank you. You too.
Next, we have Sebastian.
Hello.
Trying to unmute him. Maybe he has to unmute himself.
Okay, can you listen to me?
Yes, we got you.
Hi. Well, it's kind of difficult if I can explain it well. Actually, in terms of my weight, it's kind of easy to me like being muscle, being fit. But I understand a little psychology of the food, well, sleeping, well, all the kind of things with stress. I like to learn all of these kind of things. But when I go through this week and I start to like eat more like this, actually, I have some kind of Oreos here because I don't know, I don't know why I can't avoid it. And it's hard to me because actually I don't feel good when I eat it. Actually, all this sugar, I feel like a downgrade. I don't know if it's downgrade if you say, like a downgrade of my mood, on my physical appearance also, and everything of my life. And actually, when I was like training, actually I can say that in this moment I'm completely here. Actually, you can see me like kind of muscle. I'm not sure, but I'm completely here. I have contractures in all my body, and it's really painful to me. And I understand that even when I eat good, and even when I eat good, okay. And when I try to do exercise and all those kind of things, I understand that it's not even enough because I feel like in a bad mood, I get sick even more times. I don't know if that's the way you say it. And I don't know really what can I do with this, because it's kind of stupid. I can say it because I can get rid of this. And even I don't want to eat it. And
Okay,
I just feel-
listen. You're doing,
Okay,
Sebastian?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Okay,
watch for a second. How many of you guys can relate to this? There's this food that you have no freedom about. You have to eat it. You know it makes you feel garbage. Who has ever had that? So first thing, Sebastian, is let yourself off the hook. The food industry did this to you. They turned you into an addict. What was that you held up? Was that like little cookies or something?
Yeah, I'm Oreos.
Oh, Oreos. Do you know how much money they have spent making you feel good about them? They from the time you were a little boy, they were putting advertisements on aimed right at you, designed to make you feel good whenever you saw an Oreo. Feel good, see the Oreo. Feel good, see the Oreo. Coca-Cola did the same thing. Feel good, see the Coca-Cola. Santa, Coca-Cola. Nice, cute bear, Coca-Cola. Feel good, Coca-Cola. Feel good, Oreo cookie. And so your system has been conditioned to believe that the Oreo cookie is good. By the way, how many of you have ever had an Oreo? Who's ever had an Oreo? Okay, I want to know, who are the middle lickers? In other words, you open it up and eat the icing, yeah? Now look at the look on people's faces when they answer that. Even people who don't eat Oreos anymore are like, I'm the middle licker, because they created this identity for you. How about this? You want to know what kind of Oreo eater I was? I was open it up, eat the outside, open a second one, and double them up, and then eat it. That was me. And then Oreo caught on to what I was doing, and they made double Oreos. I mean, they're bloody brilliant at what they're doing. So let yourself off the hook, Sebastian. You have been manipulated by a drug dealer. I think it's Nabisco in this case is Oreo. I can't remember for sure. Somebody could fact check that for me. But you have been absolutely manipulated by a drug dealer. So you should be mad at them. And I want you to get mad at them. In fact, have you got the Oreos there in front of you right now? Can I see them again?
Yes.
Are you chewing gum?
Okay.
Are you chewing gum right now? Take out the gum.
Yes, also.
Take out the gum.
Okay.
Open the Oreos.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. What's your normal pattern? Do you just eat them? Do you break them? How do you do it?
I just ate them.
You just eat them?
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Jump in. So while you're eating that, I want you to just really zoom in on the taste. It's super nice. I mean, there's that weird plasticky fake chocolate flavor. Are you with me on that? Like the chocolatey flavor is not quite real. It's a kind of a broken chocolate flavor, isn't it? And then there's this ultra sweet icing in the bit. Have another piece. Have another piece. Jump in there. Get the other one in there. Don't slow down. And so, you know, you got this sort of fake chocolatey flavor. Yo, you're taking small bites. Do you normally take small bites like that? Stuff it in there. Now.
I don't know, but the second one is not even as good as was the first one. Yeah, it's not even good.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's not even good. But now let me tell you what's happening in your body. Your body is producing a bunch of insulin to deal with the garbage you just put in, the garbage sugar, and it's super hot sugar. So your body has to produce a bunch of insulin. Now your body's doing this right now. Sebastian, your body's doing it. It's producing the insulin. Your pancreas is so genius. It's producing the insulin. And then all of a sudden, the blood, the sugar's going to go into your blood and the insulin's going to break it down. And then in about somewhere in the next few minutes, what you're going to have is this weird feeling of, I know the first bite was okay and the second bite wasn't as good, but I'll bet the third bite would be great, because you're going to have insulin shock and it's going to start lying to you like a good drug dealer does. And it's going to go, Sebastian, every one of those packages comes with at least 4 cookies. We know there's another one in there, don't we? How many more cookies are there?
more.
There's one left in the package.
Oh, okay.
Do you want it?
Yeah, kind of. It's
Okay, then you should have it. Let's just check it out. Like, I want you to have it. And then this time when you have it, I want you to really put it in your mouth, close your eyes, and really notice it all the way. How does it really taste? Go ahead. Just really can you taste the chemicals? Can you taste how processed and garbage it is? Like that chocolate that is in there, it's not even good chocolate. It's kind of gross a little bit, isn't it? Now, I don't know if you're noticing any of that, but what I really want you to notice is that right now, you did not give yourself permission to have that cookie. I gave it to you, which meant that it didn't make you feel good to put it in your body. And so the effects of it over the next 20, 30 minutes, you're going to notice them. And I want you to notice them. And I also want you to know, I want you to eat many more Oreo cookies this week. And I especially want you to eat them if you don't want them. Do you understand me? You see, normally when you're having a moment and you think, I'm going to have a cookie, you get this boost of good feeling. I'm going to have the cookie. I'm going to have the cookie. And then you get this good feeling. Come on, who can relate to the little cookie dance? Everybody's got one. It's chips, it's popcorn, it's cake, it's ice cream. I got the ice cream. Right. So you got it going on, but I just took that away from you because I said it's no longer being bad. It's no longer being rebellious. You should have it right now. And so your body's going to give you more honesty this week about this. And if you play the game properly, you will develop consciousness and you will be done with it. Does this make sense?
Yeah, of course. But I don't know if this kind of, it's kind of common, but even when I feel bad and I don't want them, I don't know why I go and take one because, I have a little marker and actually I have a lot of those. My parents have a little shop and it's obviously the temptation. I can't avoid it, but I don't even want it, but I go and I feel even worse when I eat it.
Right. But listen, you're talking about the past. What I'm telling you is that over this week, I want you to play the game properly. I want you to have it. Don't stop denying yourself it. I want you to eat as many as possible. How many would you normally have? In a week coming?
God, I don't know. I will say 20 even in a week.
Okay. You need to have 20 this week. And by the way, Sebastian, at least 2 of those packages, you have to eat them on Facebook Live in the Facebook group. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to go get one, turn on your Facebook and you got to go, guys, Eric said, I'm having the Oreos. And then you got to tell us what it's like. You got to tell us how it tastes, tell us how it feels, tell us what's going on in your head. You got to share it like a reporter. This is the way it's going to be. How do I say your last name? Benavides?
Benavides. Okay.
Benavides?
Yes. Okay.
Hola. It's Sebastian Benavides reporting to you live from the field here with my Oreo cookies. I stumbled upon these Oreo cookies in the drawer and I'm going to eat them now. Here we go. I'm opening the Oreo cookies. I'm taking it out. I'm taking the first bite. It's very sweet. I think it's too sweet. And you're going to tell us the whole story like a reporter in the field. 2 of those this week. Deal?
I'll do it. I will, of course.
All right,
yeah.
Sebastian, thank you very much. Guys, before we go to the next person, we're gonna, what's that?
No, thank you. You're pretty amazing. I must say, well, one last thing that I must say that I really enjoy all this kind of environments because I see that you are pretty passionate, quite passionate about this. And you're trying to do like something really good for all of us, and I really admire that, man. It's an honor.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve. It really is. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So, all right, we're going to play a little game, Ariel, before, sorry to do this to all of you, but wait for your turn because you will get a chance here, I hope. But here's the game we're going to play. We're going to play this new game called the Angel Devil game. And the way it's going to work in a minute is I'm going to unmute you. You don't know who you are yet, but I'm going to unmute you. Now, I'm going to tell the first person that I'm unmuting them. And the first person that I am unmuting is, let's see here. You know who we're going to play? We're going to start with, I think we're going to start with Sharon. Sharon, you're unmuted. Okay?
Oh my God,
Now,
I knew it.
Good. So Sharon, here's what's going to happen in a minute. You're going to be the food devil. You can pick any food, one that's usually a problem for you sometimes, and you're going to tell us what the food devil says. You're not going to go, oh, my food devil tells me. You're not going to do that. You're going to be the food devil. You're going to go, Sharon, just one Oreo. It's not a big deal. You worked hard today. You're going to give us the devil on whatever food it is you want to do. Are you clear?
Yes.
Now, while Sharon is speaking, you'll need to pay attention to your screen because I might unmute you. For example, Kim. You see, but you need, there you go. Now you will be next, but I'll unmute you in advance. And then you will need to use your voice as the angel. And then while she's speaking, I'm going to unmute the next person. And that person's going to be the devil again. And what we're going to create here is an argument between the food devil and the food angel. And I want you to really play it because, guys, how many of you have had a chance to listen to your own food angel and food devil a bit this week, right? So you have a sense of how they talk to each other. So I want you to be really honest. How many of you have a food devil that sometimes is really nice to you? Come on, you deserve it. Who's got that? Yeah. How many of you have the abusive food devil? You are such a loser. Has anybody had a little of that? So your food, whatever your food devil does is what you bring out in this game. And whatever your food angel does is going to bring out this game. And there's two reasons for this. One is awareness. And the other one is I'm going to see if I can help coach your devil and angel to make them even better. Okay, so Sharon, we're going to start with you. Then we're going to go to Kim. And then Katie, you're going to be next. I'm telling you now. And the rest of you will not know you're next. You'll just have to watch your screen. Please do watch because it disrupts the flow if you don't notice that you're next. Sharon, begin with your food devil.
I'm going to choose sugar cake. Meaning
No dialogue. Just no dialogue. Just straight into the food devil.
All right. Oh, you haven't had this in a while, Sharon. Why don't we try one?
Keep going.
Today, just one. You know, you don't have to have all of it. You could just try just a piece, just for today.
Okay, and then when you see the person's been muted, when their voice stops, you jump in. Now you.
So how did you feel last time you had that sweet cake? Do you remember how it made you feel? Didn't it make you feel sick or tired?
Everybody else is doing it. And it's self-care. You want to be included in the group. Just eat the cake and you'll feel happy being.
Oh, she's good. Laura?
You smell so good. It's so good. I brought them to work today. You brought me to work today in your lunch pail for a reason. You wouldn't have gone to all the trouble to put them in your lunch pail if you didn't really want to eat it. They come in different flavors, but I chose the milk chocolate. No, I wanted the dark chocolate. Dark chocolate.
But you don't want chocolate. Chocolate is bad. Chocolate makes us feel horrible. And then you put weight on it and then we feel even worse. Don't do that. That's not good for us. We need to stay healthy. We got to eat healthy, wholesome foods.
but it tastes so good. It's really yummy. Just a little bit won't hurt.
Lars?
Oh yeah. No, you can't have that. You can't have that. You've tried it so many times and it always makes you bad, you know. You can't do it. You know it's not good for you. You know, it's always the same, you know. I told you so many times. There are so many good things you can have. Why do you keep trying this? Don't do that. You know it's not.
Come on. You remember when you tried this with your family, with your ex-girlfriend? It made you feel so good. Why don't you try it a little more, even just for the past? And I promise you that this week, you're not even gonna take any more.
Can you guys see why he's in trouble? He's got a damn good devil. Erica, you're up.
What is the, you don't need to do this. You're better than that. You just have to remember that it just didn't make you any better. Don't you remember? I'm here to remind you what your experience was like.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Now, a couple questions for you guys. How many of you found yourself like in your head going, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say, right? So even if I didn't call on you, this exercise was for everybody. It was designed that way. And so here's what I'm curious about, or here's what I want to offer you is some of your food angels, I can see where it's a problem. I want to train your angel a bit here. Who wants to go to angel training class? Anybody want to go to angel training? Okay. Angels do better when they ask questions than when they try to instruct. So, you know, when your angel says, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. Now your angel just sounds like a headmaster from school, right? Like you're just telling you what to do. And it's like so easy to rebel against it. But when your angel goes, hey, do you remember, how did we feel the last time we did this? Do you remember that one time we did this and then we felt really sick? Do you want to be tired this afternoon? You see when the angel asks questions, it's actually more powerful than when the angel tries to direct. Does this make sense to everybody? So I wanted to play this little game with you because over the course of this, you know, this next week, you got to keep eating the stuff you're eating before, but I still want the devil and the angel to fight it out. I don't want you to just let it happen easily. If the devil says to you, hey, you got to have this chocolate cake, well, it's still your body. It's still your body, right? So the angel should try to stop it. And then I want you to listen it on that dialogue and maybe next week we'll play the angel devil game again and we'll see if people's angels and devils are getting better. Ariel, who's up next?
You are having so much fun. It's over. The call's over.
All right. So let's talk a little bit.
All day, guys.
Oh, it's so much fun, guys. Unfortunately, I actually have a live interview that I have to run to next. So here's what we're going to do is I want to remind you that what you're doing this week is you're adding in fresh fruit and you're adding in some veg. For those of you who are already on the WildFit track, you don't need to increase it. You know what to do. I'm not asking you to add more on top of what you're eating. And if you are already eating a fair bit of fruit, you don't need it. I just want you to start your day with a bit of fruit. Make sure you're getting a reasonable amount of vegetables in the day. You can use the Alka-Geyser. We've given you the recipe. You can eat stir fries, all that kind of stuff, and continue eating all the stuff you want to eat. I guarantee you that by Wednesday, some of you will be like, but I don't want to eat this. And you might be tempted to not eat it. But I am telling you right now, if you are here for lasting change, if you want to change your trajectory permanently, then eat it anyway. If there's any part of that devil going, oh, please, like any part, then you eat it anyway. If you slip into the other paradigm where you're like, I really shouldn't, then you're in a diet paradigm. And that's not what this is. It's not how this is built. This is built to work. So this week by Wednesday, I'm telling you already, some of you will be like, I can't really finish this whole bowl of ice cream, or I can't really eat this whole pizza, or I don't really. But if you normally would have, then you must. Let me tell you something about endorphins. Endorphins are painkillers. That's what they're there for. And so one of the things that happens is when you start eating high sugar and you give yourself permission to be in rebellion, you start producing endorphins, which means you don't feel when your stomach starts getting distended. In other words, you can overeat too far and then later you go, man, my stomach doesn't feel so good. Who's had this experience? It's like, why didn't my stomach tell me this at the time? It's because you had endorphins from the junk. And so now, this week coming up, you're going to have less endorphins because it's not a big rebellion to eat this stuff, which means your stomach, you're going to feel it more. You're actually going to feel it. And you're going to be like, I swear before Eric got in my head, I could eat a whole pizza. And now for some reason I can't. It's because now your stomach is giving you feedback that it wasn't giving you before because of endorphins. And so now this week, if you start feeling like, God, I can't eat this whole pizza, but if you would have the week before, eat it. Are you guys clear with me on this? All right. Please use the Facebook group, connect with each other, reach out for help, ask questions when you've got them. I think that there's usually a special thread for asking questions of the coaches. If you guys want to chat, you can chat, but do not assume that any coach is going to see your chat. The only way your question gets answered is if it's in the coaching thread. And for those of you here working with a coach, please put your questions directly to your coach. And if any of you would like to get yourself a coach to continue the journey with or what have you, please reach out to support@getwildfit.com and they'll get you a discovery call with a coach to see if it's a match for you. You guys, I am so proud of you. This has been such a good call. I'm so excited to have you here. And everybody else who's watching on recording, I totally get that these times can't work for everybody. I just want to really push you. Try to show up for the Monday recording. We might be giving away some stuff. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, have a fantastic weekend ahead. Enjoy the buffer zone. Remember what the buffer zone means. You don't have to start with the fruit until Monday. You don't have to start with the veg until Monday, but you can if you want to. It's your decision. It's all about freedom. Congratulations, guys. See you on Monday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Somebody show.
Way to go, Sebastian.